Hello, my name is Mike Perkins and I'm going to be the instructor for your online class over the next 8 weeks. I wanted to talk to you at the beginning of the class a little bit about how I do the discussions. I do them a lot differently than most instructors do. I understand that most instructors post a question or maybe 2 or 3 questions, and then each student is supposed to take a shot at answering that question. I do it a lot differently. I thought long and hard about how to make the discussions maybe a little bit different, but also more importantly to make them more meaningful to you, the student. And I've come up with a method that I've used with a lot of success over the past 4 or 5 years. What I have you do is I have you go in a round-robin manner, taking turns, one person at a time, systematically going through the material we're covering that week. Let me give you an example of how it might work during week 1 when we're getting started. During week 1, someone would read the first pages of the text. Let's say it's pages 1 through 5. And then they would provide a synopsis of that information of what the textbook covered in their own words, using their own words. And then at the very end, a commentary, just sort of what they felt about the information or their own thoughts about the information. And then the next person, after the first person, would cover pages, let's say 6 through 9. I ask you to cover 3 to 5 pages a turn. It kind of depends. Sometimes 3 pages is a lot. Sometimes 5 pages is not even that much. It kind of depends on what the text is talking about. So the next person would cover pages 6 through 9 and provide their synopsis of what the textbook is talking about, and then their commentary. Then, after people have made their post, you're free to go in and make your comments about what they've talked about. Now, of course, you don't have to respond to everybody. So, what is the value of this method? The value is that essentially we're working our way through the textbook in a systematic manner. And that's really providing you a review and a study tool. It's all the material that's going to be on the test. That's going to be on the midterm and the final. So I think this method works out very well and is to the advantage of the student and is probably better for you. And I've gotten a lot of feedback that that is the case than the post a question and have everyone answer the same question method that a lot of other people decide to use. Now, there's 2 things that can happen that bear some discussion, and students will always ask about these, so I want to tell you about them up front. The first thing that can happen is that 2 students can cover the same material, or they can overlap a good deal. Not a problem. If that happens inadvertently, it can't happen shouldn't happen on purpose, but if that happens inadvertently, not a problem. All we have is basically 2 people talking about the same material. We have 2 different takes, 2 different interpretations of the material. That's a good thing. That happens surprisingly few times, maybe once or twice during a week, and it's certainly nothing that's going to get in our way or slow us down. It's a natural part of what happens because you're basically organizing the presentation of the material as a class yourselves. The next thing that can happen is that some chapters are longer than others, some are shorter than others, and we can basically run out of material. If we run out of material before the week is over and you haven't posted yet, go back to the beginning of the chapter or chapters that we're covering for that week and start over fresh. And that's not a problem either. So I hope you enjoy this method of discussion. I find it to be more useful, and if nothing else, it's certainly a lot different from what you've done in other classes. If you don't understand it at first, go back and review the video, or go back and look at the syllabus where I have a description of what we're going to do, or just kind of sit back in the discussion and read what others are doing and look and see how they're doing it until you get the hang of it. There's one final thing that I'd like you to do. If you're talking about the material in Chapter 3, pages 15 through 20, I'd like you to say that in your topic area. And that makes it a lot easier for us to know what's been covered. So in a topic, you might want to put something like Chapter 3, pages 15 to 20, and that way everybody can see what's been written about, and they know what they need to go into their textbook and write about. The other thing is of course I'd like you to respond to some of the postings of your peers, not all of them, but some of the postings. And also reminder, please read all of my comments. My comments are public. Email's private, so if I'm going to say something to you in private, I'm going to say it through email. But when I write something in a comment, in the discussion post, I'm writing it for the whole class. The intended audience for that comment is the whole class. That's it. I'm glad you're taking the class with me, and I hope that you enjoy it very much. And don't worry about this different kind of discussion method. You get the hang of it very quickly. Thank you.